Most people these days have heard of what malaria is. Many have heard the stories of mosquitoes in Africa biting and killing children. But what is malaria? Where did it come from? What causes it? And is it as dangerous as the media says? The first thing to know is that malaria is a very old disease. So old, it was recently found in Egyptian remains from 3200 BC and can be found referenced in Homer's The Iliad. It is a deadly parasite that has affected even the most influential of people. It has infected 8 U.S. presidents, including Washington, Lincoln, and John F. Kennedy. The disease most likely started in the African rainforest, where it then spread to the Nile, making its way to the Fertile Crescent before eventually landing on the shores of Greece. Greek traders were likely the ones who brought malaria to the Romans, who then spread the disease to the country of England, where the English colonists continued to spread it on their travels. The disease spread wildly and left disaster in its wake, causing many families to abandon their homes in the malaria epidemic of 79 AD. At the time, many people tried to understand what caused this destructive disease. The Chinese medical canon originally blamed malaria symptoms on 3 demons, but we now know that this is not the case. Malaria is caused by the Plasmodium parasite, often found in female mosquitoes. These mosquitoes spread the disease by biting humans, which allows the parasite to enter the bloodstream and infect the host. This infection causes the patient to suffer flu-like symptoms, such as shaking chills, headaches, muscle aches, and tiredness, as well as fever. It has the possibility to cause nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, and, due to the loss of red blood cells, may cause the patient to be anemic and jaundice. This means that the patient's skin turns white or yellow. If gone untreated, malaria can become relentless and cause kidney failure, seizures, mental confusion, coma, and death. In most cases, symptoms arise between 10 days and 4 weeks after infection, but symptoms can quickly escalate. Therefore, the CDC suggests that a person who has potentially been exposed to malaria have a diagnostic test to determine whether malaria parasites are present in the blood, as that is the only true way to determine whether a patient has malaria or not. The Mayo Clinic suggests many preventative measures when living in or visiting malaria endemic countries, such as wearing multiple layers of clothes, applying insect repellent that contains DEET and permethrin, and sleeping under a large net such as those used for camping. If a person knows they will be visiting a malaria endemic country, they should begin taking the same drugs used to treat malaria in that country before they depart. The 2 most common drugs used to treat malaria are artemisinin-based combination therapies, also known as ACTs, and chloroquine phosphate. ACTs are a combination of two malaria-fighting drugs, such as artemether lumefantrine and artesunate amodiaquine, and is the most common form of malaria treatment. Chloroquine phosphate, while a preferred form of treatment, unfortunately is not effective in many parts of the world tormented by malaria. The 6 highest burden countries in the World Health Organization African region are Nigeria, the Democratic Republic of the Congo, United Republic of Tanzania, Uganda, Mozambique, and Côte d'Ivoire. These countries account for an estimated 47% of all malaria cases each year. This disease remains linked with poverty, as the highest malaria mortality rates are seen in countries with higher poverty rates. Lately, many celebrities have taken note of this disparity and have tried to speak out. Bill Gates did a TED Talk on malaria where he released a swarm of mosquitoes into the auditorium and told the audience that the mosquitoes were infected with malaria. He soon revealed that the mosquitoes were in fact safe, but his point was that poor people should not be the only ones who are afraid of dying of malaria. While there is much research into malaria prevention, unfortunately there is no vaccine as of 2020. A vaccine would target each stage of parasite development, and the blood stage has been a long-standing focus of this research because of the ability of antibodies to block erythrocyte invasion. While efforts to produce a blood stage vaccine have been futile, developments in genomic system approaches has garnered new understandings of merozoite protein involvement in host cell invasion and immune response. This information is crucial for the development of a blood stage vaccine and has led many scientists to be hopeful. In the year 2018, Colorado had 22 reported cases of malaria, one of which resulted in death. The United States has approximately 2,000 positive cases of malaria per year, with most cases occurring in citizens who have recently traveled to malaria endemic countries. While malaria is not common in the United States, there is a high chance for the disease to emerge due to the high number of competent vectors in southern states. A vector is an organism that does not cause disease itself, but can spread it. The disease is currently eradicated in the United States due to the CDC's predecessor, the Office of Malaria Control in War Areas, who took measures to limit the impact of malaria and other vector-borne diseases. One of the initial tasks when the CDC was first created was to oversee the completion of the elimination of malaria as a major public health problem. There is much hope for this, as 50 countries are set to reduce their malaria incident cases by 75% in line with World Health Organization targets for 2015. but these countries only account for 3% of the total estimated malaria cases. Globally, there were 219 million cases of malaria in 2017 and 435,000 resulting in death. Numbers are going down, but without a vaccine, they cannot get much better. Symptoms do arise between 10 days and 4 weeks after infection, but the patient's prognosis is much better if the parasite is detected early. Therefore, it is important to be tested if you have traveled to a malaria endemic country and are experiencing symptoms of malaria. You can also donate to organizations such as Give Well, The Life You Can Save, and Against Malaria to help stop this life-ending disease.